Alright guys, Saturday, November 6th. I'm in pretty early today, but conditions have changed. The wind shifted out of the south. Temperatures got a lot warmer. It's probably close to 60 degrees right now. That south wind coming in. I am hunting the bean field again. I'm going to ride out this bean field for a while. I sat here yesterday. 2 mature bucks came out, and somewhere between 15 and 20 does were out here. One of the mature bucks came in and actually bed down about 75 yards away. He's not one of the deer that I wanted to shoot this year, but he's a deer that was in this field all summer feeding that we got a lot of video of and a lot of trail camera media of. Good deer. Definitely a good deer for next year. And then Stanky Leg came out. He'd been all over my cell cams, all over the farm, and then he ended up coming out. Even though my last picture of him was heading the opposite direction, half an hour later he pops out in this field. Too dark for camera light, unfortunately. Chased some does around for a while. Pretty eventful night. So the last 2 nights I've sat here, I've seen upwards of 15 deer. So I'm gonna ride it out. The way this wind is shifted right now to the southeast, there's no way they could win me doing any of the stuff they've done the last 2 hunts. It's just impossible for them to get downwind. The wind's blowing back that way. There's a CRP area back here the deer just don't use. There's an alfalfa field, a bean field in front of me that they're feeding heavily on. And still waiting for an appearance of Dad's buck. I know the conditions aren't good for him to come out tonight, but if he gets on the right doe that comes out here and feeds, it'd be real cool to get some footage of him and get him in range. We ended up having some of those does yesterday actually come down here and get in range, so that's a positive sign. We smooth things over with the neighbors, so we're allowed to hunt here as long as the lease guys aren't in here, and once again the lease guys aren't here. I don't see their blinds, so Alright guys, I got about 10 minutes of camera light left. And I was finally able to get some video of Stanky Leg. He's out feeding the beans at about 200 yards right now. 3 other deer out there. He's on a mature doe and she's not closing the gap, so I'm gonna try to snort wheeze him. I've already tried grunting at him a bunch and he looked over one time, but I'm gonna try to snort wheeze him and see if it gets any reaction. I'm still having a lot of fun, and tonight's plan is very simple. We had a wind coming out of the west. We know Stanky was in here earlier today, and he's been feeding in a field to the west all week. So at least the does that he's been following have been feeding in those fields. And we're hoping with this west wind that he comes up, heads that way, and we can cut him off. And he's my number 2 hit list buck, which everyone wants to kill their number 1, but it's just not always possible. I've been able to do it the last 2 years, but I'm very blessed and I'm very lucky. So to be able to do it 3 years in a row would be impossible. So I'll settle for my number 2 if he comes by tonight. The number 1 buck on my list is in here somewhere, but he's only ever showing up in that field. They're harvesting the field right now, or probably just got done harvesting said field. So I'm just kind of staying away from there right now. They got all the trucks out there and semis, and I'm kind of trying to do an ambush. He's been in that field. He was killable in that field twice. He's been in that field maybe 7 times, according to the trail cameras. But we got him on the trail camera here in front of this stand. I'm hunting possum run tonight. 1 time, October 13th. And other than that, he's been on 0 of our trail cameras besides that field cam. Can't really explain it. He's not doing what he did last year. I have cameras in all the same places I did last year where he was all over them, and he's not touching any of them. So maybe he starts to wander tonight. That'd be cool. Won't know for sure, but there's a chance he could show up. And if he did, that would be something. But we're hunting Stanky Leg. We know he's in here. The 5x3 was in here this morning too, so we know that there's 2 mature bucks in here. Stanky Leg's the only one I'd shoot out of those 2, but should be a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys, back at the shop here, November 9th. Just got done with the evening hunt. My plan worked just about perfectly. I had Stanky for the 4th time in front of me while hunting since November 1st. And every single time he's had a doe with him, and he's been locked on her. And for the 2nd time, I threw everything I had at him. I was grunting, I was snort wheezing. I was trying to do anything I could to get him to turn and just come investigate. And he looked back once again. I know the video probably shows it, but he looked back and then just kept following his doe. I mean, he's had a harem of does with him all fall, and I can't break him free. But the plan almost worked. He came in from the south, cut into the wind of the west. I was facing the west. He was upwind. No way he could have winded me, but he just a little bit too far out. It was about 75 yards, so I needed him to be about 40 closer. But I'm going to go back out in the morning on the 10th and try for him again. I mean, it's all you can do at this point. Hunting's been a lot of fun when you're seeing bucks like this every hunt and getting some good footage and just having these interactions with mature bucks. It's a lot of fun. So I'll be back out in the morning.